Thank you for joining me for the Vampire Talk Show. I'm your host, VALentine. Val to my friends. My roommate discovered my coffin under the concrete floor of the basement in her new house and woke me up from a 100-year nap. Now I'm reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, and of course, making a podcast. We have a fantastic show that is essentially my Valentine to you, dear listener. So let's talk about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, as we know it, now involves candy hearts, boxes of chocolate, flowers, and fancy dinner dates. It's a red and pink day of celebrating the ones you love, and not just romantic love. Friends celebrate their love with something called Galentine's Day. Parents give their children Valentines, etc. A day of confessing one's love and celebrating the years spent together. What a beautiful little capitalistic holiday. And who do we have to thank for such a holiday? The Catholics? It is St. Valentine's Day, is it not? Well, pull up a heart-shaped cushion and let me drop some rose petals of knowledge on you. Originally, Valentine's Day was a pagan holiday named Lupercalia. It was a Roman holiday, not to be confused with the classic Audrey Hepburn flick, celebrating the she-wolf who took care of Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. Lupercalia was a day for blood sacrifices to aid in fertility for both womb and soil. According to legend, on this day, single women would put their names into a goblet, and single men would draw names and be paired with their woman for the year, often ending in marriages. It sounds like Lupercalia was the origin of key parties. Well, whether you celebrate Valentines with candy and flowers or blood and a goblet of fire-esque dating service, I love each and every one of you who have listened, supported, shared, and advocated for my little talk show. I love you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Now, let's not get too sappy. On with the show. I'm pleased to announce tonight's guest. A very Valentine-y sort of theme. Tonight's guest is the matchmaker to the mysterious. The Cupid of cryptids. I give you Jean-Gaston Target. Welcome to the program, my darling.
Oh, hello. How you doing, Verlaine?
I'm very well, thank you. Well, you must be busy this time of year, seeing that it is Valentine's Day. Have you been really busy matchmaking with all of these different entities?
Oh, indeed, I am so busy this time of year, but to be perfectly honest, I am busy most throughout the year. Of course, as you know, many of our cryptids, monster friends, it's very lonely existences they have, and it is my job to help them connect with each other, to match them, and bring them together to find love.
Oh, that is so wonderful. So how does one get into this this profession? Is it a family business, or is this something that you yourself wanted to try?
Well, indeed, in my life, I have been very good at acquiring lovers, but I found that there was an unmet need in the community of cryptids and monsters and strange individuals. So I took it upon myself to say, Jean-Gaston, you have these strengths. You have the words of honey. You can say things very sweetly. And I thought I will use this. I will teach it to everyone and help them find a partner for their life or for their multiple lives.
Okay, so you said that you yourself you collect many lovers. So are you a bachelor yourself?
Well, I choose to live alone because it is the only way I can keep my, I'm a very messy living person. As you say, I have lots of things all over the floor and the walls. So I do not have a live-in lover, but I do have lovers who let me visit them.
Sounds awesome.
Indeed, I am well traveled.
So you teach people how to speak in a beautiful accent, and that's how that they get
No.
their partner?
The beauty is inherent in every person. I just teach them how to speak so they can speak to their beauty, the words that work for them. I help them find what it is about themselves that it is worth loving,
Mm-hmm.
and then to put that out there and help others find it.
So you're kind of like the Cyrano de Bergerac of the paranormal world, yes?
Yes, perhaps closer than you indicate, except my nose is, of course, normal, but I do have a slightly rounder tongue. It is, it does not look that strange here. As you can see, I stick it out. Yeah,
Yes.
it does just not come to the normal kind of point, the tapered
It's a
point that most people
very
use.
round tongue.
I know
yes.
they call it circle tongue, I believe, but the problem is it just cannot, say certain things as well. But it's okay.
So is your accent due to your round tongue or to
No, it
your
is due
country
to
of
me being
origin?
French.
Ah, yes, French.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought I recognized the accent. Also, your name, Jean-Gaston Target, is quite French and the only kind of French that I can pronounce.
You can pronounce more French words. Do you know the city I'm from? I bet you can say it. Do you
No,
like do you like mustard?
what?
Then you can say Dijon. That is where I'm from.
You're from Dijon?
I'm from Dijon.
No, okay. Yeah, I can say Dijon. Yes.
There you go.
I can also say a garage and corsage. Yes. I guess I speak
lemon
more.
meringue pie?
Is that French?
I mean, it sounds like it with the word you're using.
I guess I can make things sound French without them actually sounding French.
Oui.
Anyway, um, so can you tell us a nice little love story that you might have had a hand in? Do you have any success stories to share?
I do actually, and it relates to some gossip you have shared previously. I believe you talked about the Fresno Nightcrawlers were at a fashion show
Yes.
recently. Well, one of them, it is what is his name? Oh, his name is Gerard. Gerard is one of the Fresno Nightcrawlers, and he was lonely and looking for love after the fashion show. Saw many beautiful models, and he came to me and said, Jean-Gaston, can you help me find love? And I said, of course. We will hit the target with your love. We will find it. And I was able to connect him conveniently with a penanggalan. Do you know a penanggalan?
I do. They are very demure creatures that are armored with scales, correct?
They do have some scales, yes. However, they are mostly known for actually having vampiric qualities, but they are usually seen as a floating head or a floating head and torso. And I thought, what is a better match for someone that looks like white pants?
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Then they make up one entire body, I suppose.
It is a beautiful thing. You can see visually how good they are together.
That is fantastic. So are they wed? Are they still together? Like
I believe they are still courting, but you can't hurry love, as they say.
You can't hurry love.
No, even if you run fast, you shouldn't hurry love.
You just have to wait. Yes.
You do have to wait, absolutely, yes.
So have you heard of this? Also, just to cover, you are human indeed, correct?
Indeed, I am. I know my round tongue is a bit strange, but I promise I am human. It is just I find myself in a position to bring different hearts together. So that is what I do. But I am human and I am mortal. So I will die soon, and that is sad.
Yes, very sad. I didn't think we would go so morbidly so quickly.
Well, so many of the people I match are persons like yourselves who live, centuries or perhaps a couple millennia for some of the demigods I've connected with. And some of these creatures do not necessarily exist in our space-time. So, do they die? Do they live? It is hard to say, but they will certainly last longer than I will.
Yes.
That's why I find it is important for me to make my mark on as well, to help bring them together. These people have been lonely in the mythologies and religions of the world, and I want them to find the other heart, the soul, who is somewhere else in this universe, and I match them up.
Oh, what a wonderful legacy that you're leaving behind then. A legacy of love between entities. I just think that is wonderful. Can you tell us what your process is? Like, when someone contracts you to find a match for them, what is the things that you do in order to find them their perfect match?
Well, I have a questionnaire that I provide that I
Oh.
usually use in an interview and ask questions and say, how do you love? What do you like? What is it you want in another person? Do you have any certain strange aspects of your physical or psychological being that may cause others to go insane or something of that matter? Finding the right people to connect is good. I do not want to bring an elder god with a, human lady because that would be drastically terrible for her psyche. But could I find maybe an Hollow Earth god with an Elder Space god? Yes, they may be more compatible because they can communicate across stretches of space without having to use anything other than their minds. But
So,
yeah, I will ask questions to find and kind of narrow down what is the kind of love that you need and what kind of love do you put out into the world.
I like that. Are you familiar with these love languages?
I have heard of the love languages. I do think they are a bit simplified in
Mm-hmm.
terms of what the experience of love is. I think they're good reference points. However, I think even when we say like right now I speak English and you are speaking English, but we both have words that mean different things. And if I ask you to say what is blue and you point to blue, I might point at a different blue.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we have the same language, our meanings vary. And I think the simplification into five love languages is just a starting point, but it should not be a determining factor.
If you could add a love language to the five love languages, what would
Yes.
you add to that pantheon?
Well, that's a good question. I think I would add screaming because I find that if you find two people who love to just sit there and scream into the void together, there's usually so many other reasons they have to connect. So I would say that, you have gifts and you have doing acts of service, but I do think screaming together is a good love language to start with.
I think that is a profound and necessary addition to the five love languages is screaming. Um, yes.
I mean, sometimes that it is the only language. I will say that, one of the benefits of my services is I will travel to lower population areas, such as vast stretches of desert or forest, where there's only creatures and no humans, to be around, places like the Olos in Appalachia. And there's so many mysterious things. But, if I try to communicate with them, it sounds to me just like screaming. Luckily, they can fill out my questionnaire with the pencil and paper and I can get the answers I need. But sometimes people only scream and you have to figure out how do I scream back to you?
Yes. Wow. Actually, this year is a very good year for screaming love languages because apparently there is a giant cicada brood that is going to come forth from the soil this year. And so
Oh,
screaming
yes.
is going to be in the air as well as love, I suppose.
Well, perhaps they are screaming for love. That is why they say we all scream for ice cream.
Yes, and we all scream for love as well. So you yourself, you are I was going to say a ladies' man, but I don't know what your proclivity is. Um, but you are an experienced lover. Are you looking to settle down at some point?
No, no, no. I enjoy my business. I enjoy spending my time bringing others together to create matches. And to me, that is the kind of love I want to put out into the world, the love that I can grow and cultivate in others.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean, for example, it's one of those things where I could stop, but I just see too much success. I see too much loneliness in the world with our friends. For like to give you an example, recently I've had lots of my customers have been crones and Baba Yagas and other ladies. But problem is, yeah, they've been around for hundreds of years, living in deep, dank forests or little cabins made of candy and eating children and frying penises to make potions. However, they have mastered their craft and they have a little bit more free time. And I tell you what, there are so many crones I am connecting together. Crone loving crone, it is a beautiful thing. They are finding themselves in a late life crisis and just finding love.
Oh, I do love that. Um, yes, whether you're a hairy cryptid or a craggly crone, everyone is worthy of love. Um, or a singledom as well. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for people to find their partner, their person, their lover. But I feel that there are people out there that are just happy to be single and alone. I have friends who are very much happy to be single. What do you say about that?
I think that it's an important thing to experience. I have had customers who I ultimately did not charge them for my full services because it was determined that the only person they wanted to love was themselves, that they were happy being single on their own. And if I was part of the journey for them to figure that out, I am so happy. That is not something that this myth match application is on the phones that I have to compete with. I customize love experiences and they have an algorithm that says, oh, you'll find love in about 5 days. It doesn't matter. Just answer questions, upload picture of you catching a fish. This myth match. It's
Oh yes.
nothing.
I can imagine that Mythmatch is for those who don't know, Mythmatch is a paranormal dating app, much like a human Tinder or Bumble or whatever. But specifically for cryptids, ghosts, aliens, etc. Um, and so, is it really cutting in on your business since Mythmatch has come out?
I have no doubt my organization will be busier if mismatch did not exist. But you know, capitalism and competition, free market, all that bullshit. It's whatever it is. I deal with it. I know that the experience that I deliver to my customers is always customized. It is to how their heart loves. It's to how their soul seeks out others, and it is not relying on some algorithm to just match people up like that.
Yes, I suppose there's more poetry in what you do. It's more about vibe and whatnot. And actually, sometimes matchmaking services do makeovers. Is that part of your service as well? Do you make people over in order to make them more appealing to their target?
Well, sometimes during our conversations, we find out that, they have a certain self-consciousness about something, like perhaps their tongue is not as pointy as it could be, or something of that matter. And we determine, if there is a makeover that is appropriate, whether they need a haircut or they need a fin sharpened or they have to wear hats, perhaps, whatever it is that kind of makes them feel they are more appealing. I will encourage them to do so, but it is not part of the services I offer. But I do have people I can reference for them.
Fantastic.
I have to say, Elaine,
Mhm.
I'm looking around your studio here. I do not see any photos except, well, there's some of cats around here, but
Mhm.
I think that means you need my services, no?
Oh, I was hoping we weren't going to get into it, but I suppose we shall. I am perfectly happy being a single person. I am getting my kicks. I've been asleep for 100 years, and now I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I'm dipping my toe, occasionally and whatnot, but it's fine. I
Do you
am.
sometimes get confused when you say, "Oh, it is time for me to feed," or but he or she, they look very handsome, they look beautiful. I do not want to bite them. Do you run into that?
I actually, the more attractive a person is, the more I want to eat them. So it is a little bit weird. Love and
But by eat, you
food.
do mean just bite and suck blood. You do not, or do you
No,
mean consumption?
no. You're quite right. It is just blood that I drink. But I tend to say just eat instead of, drain or insanguinate or whatever,
I
because
understand, yes.
it's,
I ask questions because I do not actually work with too many vampiric entities such as yourself. It turns out you have what they call the Rees. You have Rees,
yes.
and for that reason, my services are not necessarily needed. There is something actually I would like to ask of. I'd like to ask of long-living beings such as yourself,
Mm-hmm.
who live like multiple human lifetimes, if not virgin on immortality. How do you perceive love differently, do you think, compared to humans who just like we live and die in like 70 years?
Mm. I think uh, we experience love on a grander scale. Um, that we tend to have multiple partners, and actually, most vampires are also pansexual. So, everything is a free for all.
The world is a
And
buffet.
exactly. Not only for food, but also for love and sexual pleasure and whatnot. And I think that vampires, younger vampires, try to find that overarching partner, but nobody ever nails it. Only a couple of vampires actually have found their one person, one vampire for their whole life, and it's very rare. Um, I mean, being married for 70 years as a human, I mean, that seems like a very long time, does it not?
It seems excessive, yes.
Exactly. Just try to multiply that by 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. We tend to float on and maybe circle back to past lovers and whatnot. But I feel like it is more fluid and that sort of thing instead of, rigidity. It's actually, I feel like it's kind of like those polyamorous people that are now popular. I think it's funny that bigamy was outlawed and is definitely, frowned upon back in the day, and now it seems to be quite popular. Even TV shows and whatnot about it. So
As long as they are not getting married, they do not violate any laws.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But so yeah, I think that vampires just tend to be a little bit all over. And also, sometimes a vampire can go for years and years and years without talking to another soul, and let alone get it on with another person, because we live so long. Like a decade seems like a minute sometimes. So it is
Indeed, I
what it
bet
is.
time just moves more slowly for you if knowing that you have all the time in the world to make your choices to live however you want to live.
Absolutely. And not to knock, your services or anything, but yes, I don't think that unless dear friend, you were trying to ask me on a date.
I was not. I do not believe I wish to be bitten,
Oh,
but
I mean
I
that's
wish
not
to be
mutually
smitten, not bitten, as I say. But I
they're
no,
not
but
mutually exclusive. I don't have to feed, while in the throes or anything. It's just
you have to
nice.
pardon me, I'm blushing. But no, what I am, though, perhaps, you have so many connections to the world of the paranormal, to
Mhm.
cryptids and mythologies. Perhaps you could help. I am trying to get in with the aquatic cryptid community, but the Loch Ness monster and
Mm.
Jessie and
Hmm.
others, but they are understandably elusive. And I'm not that great of a swimmer. I blame my tongue. But I'm also just not sure how to communicate with them. If until I can get them out of the body of water wherever they exist, because I cannot talk underwater for very long, and I do not think the questionnaire can be filled out since it's on paper. I know it's a logistical issue, but
It
I do feel
is.
like that is a dearth in my customer base. I would like to connect plesiosaurs with other plesiosaurs.
I think that's a worthy a goal to have in your line of work. And I would be happy to introduce you to some of my aquatic cryptid friends. And who knows, maybe it will permeate the plesiosaur culture.
And indeed,
And
they say there's, more fish in the sea, but there's also more monsters in the sea, and they want to love too.
absolutely, I just love that this goal that you have to get everyone to find love and whatnot. I just love it. Do you have any other success stories about matches that you've made for people?
Let me see. I'm trying to think of some recent victories I've had, but one of the things that is difficult is with the different Sasquatches.
Oh.
Because in the North America, they tend to be brown hair or black hair.
Hmm.
In parts of like Asia, they are sometimes white or gray. You go places like Florida or Australia, they may be brown or redder. And this very strange community, they are very picky about the hair color of each other. So I can only connect North American Sasquatches with North American Sasquatches. I say
Mm.
here, this is a beautiful Yeti who also likes long walks on a mountain peak, and you're not interested. And I said, no, it's gray. I don't like gray. And I just think it's not racist, but is it very hairist? I don't know what the Sasquatch is, but from what I understand, they like to stay within their particular follicular colors.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, I suppose it goes along the lines of gentlemen prefer blondes and that sort of thing.
I suppose, yes, but at the very least, it has helped me identify, so to speak, lovers' lane spots in North America. Did you know Mount Shasta is filled with so many adorable, loving Sasquatch couples? There are some polycules there as well. I believe you can usually hear them screaming, but the Mount Shasta, it is like the lovers' lane, so it's like an orgy, big
Uh,
orgy of just Sasquatches.
of Sasquatches in particular. Wow. That's so if you are a Sasquatch looking for a wild time, I suppose go on to Mount Shasta, correct?
Yes, it is. I mean, most everyone who goes there is because they have coupled up, they have been matched with someone, but there is no reason there could not be a single scene there as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you, dear friend. Well, thank you for letting us peek behind the curtain of paranormal matchmaking, Monsieur Target. Um,
Absolutely. Yes. Just remember, everyone to look me up. I am Jean-Gaston Target, matchmaker to the mysterious. Do a bit of cryptids. That's how you find me, Jean-Gaston Target. Thank you, Verlaine, for having me today. It's very lovely to speak with you.
Thank you, friend. And now we are going to go to paranormal gossip. For paranormal gossip, last weekend was Hagfest for the hags of the universe. I'm talking witches, banshees, La Llorona, Baba Yagas, Kikimoras, etc. The worst of the worst, the baddest baddies you can imagine. At Hagfest, there are curse-offs, panels led by popular hags, and parties. It's a 4-day affair, and one does not need to be a hag to be in attendance. There's always some kind of drama, and this year did not disappoint. An entity who shall remain nameless told me they saw a notable harpy, Lisa, and lowly selkie, Marcus, locking lips in a dark room during a party in a hotel suite. Now, status and habitat discompatibility aside, what exactly is the problem? Lisa is a newlywed, but not to Marcus. She is wed to none other than Jequan, famed demon of hell. He was also in attendance at Hagfest not 3 doors down from where this tryst occurred. The hag community had their suspicions, but now they know for sure, and it's thanks to sheer audacity.
That is interesting what you talked about at the Hagfest. I had a choice to make last weekend. Do I want a booth at the Hagfest or do I want to have a booth at Super Bowl? I chose the Super Bowl. I thought it was going to be attended by a few more cryptids and monsters than who showed up. Unfortunately, it was only Taylor Swift was there,
Yes.
and I think Kanye West was there briefly, but he left. But there's not as many. I should have gotten a booth at Hagfest. It sounds like they needed someone to connect them with true love instead of having trysts like that.
Yes. In terms of your clientele, yes, I believe Hagfest would have been a much better choice. But there's always next year.
Indeed, yes, I should have played to my strengths.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jean-Gaston Target, and I hope to have you back on the program.
Indeed, should you find anyone who is in need of love, I will be happy to come on and guide them.
Thank you. So that's all for the show tonight, kiddies. And remember, embrace the dark, the strange, and unusual. It just may embrace you back. Thanks to Rob Baughman for being our guest today. You can find him on Twitter at Glamdolf1. Please consider becoming a Patreon member of the show. You can be a Baby Bat Sticker Club member where you get stickers every month, or you can be a Tarot Speakeasy member where you can get a tarot reading and tarot cards sent to you every month. Please subscribe on patreon.com/The Vampire Talk Show. This has been an Opus Nox Media production. To find out more, go to opusnoxmedia.com.